Welcome to another segment on writing. This particular lecture examines the research process and the various steps you'll need to be familiar with for any paper requiring you to do academic research. If we think about the process as a set of stairs to reach our objectives, it can help you to understand the various levels of research involved in writing a research paper. There are essentially 6 key steps that you need to understand, and 4 of those happen before you even think of putting your pen to paper to scribble out the first words. This image is a great reference to help you see where you might be in your research process. As it is important to understand the research process, we're going to look at each of these steps more in depth. They are as follows: identify and develop your topic, do a preliminary search for information, locate materials, evaluate your sources, make notes, and finally, after you've done all that, write your paper. For your topic, you want to start by having some idea of your thesis statement. You might have to do a little bit of research to help you understand your topic so that you can generate this statement. I can tell you that the thesis statement you start with at this point will not be the thesis statement you include in your final paper. The research you do as you progress from here will help you to transform this sentence into something stronger and clearer. Some of you might even find that your thesis switches sides based on the research you conduct. I've actually seen that happen more than once for students, and that's okay. This is a starting point only. It is not the end-all be-all. Try and keep that in mind as you pursue your topic this term. Next, you will do a preliminary search. The sources you find during your first search may not be the ones you use by the end of this process. They are preliminary because they're there to help guide you. You might find some key terms in these first few sources that direct you to even better resources. You might also decide that the sources you found don't work for what you want. However, the sources they used might. You can check out their works cited or references pages to find more sources that might be a better fit for your topic. This is all part of researching to find exactly what is needed as you investigate your topic of interest. As you're using these search techniques, you're actually moving into the next stage of research, locating materials. Another tool that can help you to locate your materials is the abstract of a piece. You can read the abstract of an article to understand what that piece contains. The abstract is basically a summary of the article. It'll give you hints as to what the article is about, which can be useful. You can read the abstract to understand if this piece will work for your topic. If the abstract indicates that the article is completely out in left field and has nothing to do with your topic, then you know that there's no sense spending time that it would take to read a 20-page academic article, as it would be a waste of time in terms of locating research for your paper. Now, if you think it sounds interesting and you have time to spare, please indulge in the reading. I strongly encourage it, though I certainly don't require it. After you've gathered some of your sources, you have to evaluate their strength for your paper. You will need to consider a few things. These items are covered in the CRAP test segment. For those of you who might have already written a short paper evaluating an article, this step is really the explanation you needed to understand why you had to complete such an assignment. The quality of your sources does matter. As such, how you determine what makes a quality source also matters. Thus, the reason for the evaluations. Another way to evaluate your source is to perform some lateral reading. This is where you find the same information in a variety of quality sources. Knowing that multiple experts are saying the same thing can really help to highlight the strength of the information you have found. Now that you have your quality sources with an idea of the direction you want to take your paper, you can get down to some aspects of writing in the form of notes. Depending on the paper and the professor you have, you might be assigned any of the following types of note-taking as a step toward your final research paper. You might be assigned an abstract, an annotated bibliography, index cards, outlines, or even some sort of graphic organizer. All of these are useful tools in their own ways. I would like to note that not every form of note-taking is useful to everyone. For that reason, I do encourage you to try each type at least once so that you understand how they work or don't work for you personally. Once you have your research notes, you can use them to actually write out the research paper. I know, that's a lot of steps to go through from one idea to a full paper, but I can promise you that the process is worth it. When you know how to research and research well, you're better able to conduct your thoughts and construct them in a manner that will captivate your audience as you work to present your point. I want to leave you with some key phrases that you might see in your assignments as you work toward that final research paper. This can help you to understand where you are in your research. I do want you to note that not all of these steps are linear. You might have to bounce around from one to another as you work toward that final research project. This is completely normal. I wish I could give you a concise formula like you would have in a math class, but that's just not how the writing process works. The research process, much like the writing process, is messy. And it's messy because it deals with ideas, your ideas. Sometimes it takes a little more time and a little messier and a little more digging for your ideas to form in the way that you want them to. I can promise you, though, that it's all worth the effort. I hope that you found this helpful as you embark on your research process. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to your professor using that email icon. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you on the flip side.